guys, it's Neil again from Heart of Texas Armory, and today I want to bring you guys a video showing you guys all of my Quartz dive watches. So I'm a big fan of Quartz watches in general, and dive watches are probably my favorite style of watch. So naturally I'm going to have quite a few of these, as you can see in front of you here. And some of the things I love about Quartz watches, obviously the timekeeping being so accurate, but they're also very rugged because of the nature of a quartz movement. They're anti-magnetic, they're not really affected by magnetism, and they're just simple. So I really enjoy Quartz watches, and I wanted to bring you guys a video kind of just briefly talking about all of these watches you see in front of you. And if you're interested in more detail on any of these watches, be sure to check out the video reviews for them, because I have video reviews for pretty much all of these on my channel. So definitely check those out if you're interested. So join me today as we talk briefly about these really cool Quartz dive watches that I have in my collection. And we'll start off talking about my favorite watch out of all of these watches you see in front of you, and that is my CERTINA DS Action PRECIDRIVE. What a cool watch here, guys. This is a 300-meter dive watch. Incredible quality because this is Swiss made. The accuracy on that PRECIDRIVE is simply incredible here. This thing gains like 2 or 3 seconds a month. So very, very accurate quartz movement. And of course, being Swiss made, it's going to be a solidly built watch here. Just the finishing here, everything is nicely done. And this watch here probably gets more wrist time than any of the watches you see out here. It is pretty much the perfect watch for me. So I definitely love this CERTINA DS Action PRECIDRIVE. And next up, we'll talk about my SEIKO Quartz dive watch here. This is the SEIKO 7548-7000. Really cool dive watch here. These were produced in the late 70s and early 80s. My example here is from 1979. And these little timepieces are quite desirable and rare. I've seen these go for well over $500 in good shape. I've even seen a couple go for over $1,000. So be prepared to spend a little money if you're interested in one of these. Now, my example here is kind of a Franken watch. I ordered it from the Philippines, so the case is original, the case back's original, the dial is original. But they've replaced the hands on this particular timepiece, and the bezel insert here does not match the dial. So what should have been on my watch is a black bezel insert, but I have the Pepsi bezel insert here. The insert is an original one, but it's not original to this timepiece. So I was able to pick this one up for I think around $120 or $130 if I'm not mistaken. And I really like it. The quartz movement inside this timepiece is one of the most rugged quartz movements ever developed. Just an absolute bulletproof, very robust quartz movement here. Really cool watch. So 150 meters of water resistance. It is a dive watch, but being a vintage watch, you definitely would want to check your seals on this to make sure they're still good and that the watch is water resistant. But definitely a cool quartz timepiece from SEIKO that I definitely recommend. Next up, we're going to talk about my PHOIBOS here. This is my PHOIBOS PX002. This is the Gen 1, so I've had this for over 2 years now. Love this timepiece. This one stays up here at work for me. I wear it when I'm running my CNC machine or building rifles or some other things like that. I'm always wearing this timepiece because it was only $100. So I don't feel bad wearing this, doing things that I would probably damage some of my higher end pieces. This one here, I just wear it, and it has held up great. It's an excellent little watch here from PHOIBOS. The new model, the Gen 2s, have improved loom and a few other upgrades. Those go for about $120. Just an amazing quartz dive watch here for around $120 new, or on used you can get them for well under $100. Great timepiece. I really love this thing. You also get 300 meters of water resistance, and I have taken this watch down to the ocean numerous times. I've gone snorkeling with it, and it's held up great. Just a really good value here. So awesome little timepiece. And next up, we're going to talk about this quartz dive watch from WENGER. This is another watch here that is quite rare, but they do pop up from time to time on eBay and some other sites. They are out of production. If I'm not mistaken, these watches were produced probably in the late 90s to early 2000s. So what we get here is you get a really cool vintage looking watch, which I really like. Look at that big crown there. We do have 200 meters of water resistance, so it is an actual dive watch. We have a nice bezel, just a really cool timepiece here. Very accurate as well. I've really enjoyed wearing this piece, and be on the lookout for these on eBay, because you can pick these up for anywhere from $40 to $60 typically, and at that price, it's definitely worth it if you're into quartz dive watches like I am. Really cool timepiece here. I just like the vintage looks of this one here. I did upgrade this one to a stainless steel bracelet recently, so check out the video on that if you're interested how I did that. Next up, here I have a Cooper SUBMASTER PVD version with the black finish. And this is a watch that was sent to me and for review, and I love it. I think it's a great watch. It does have a few negatives. The bezel is kind of sloppy on this particular piece, but it has a lot of things going for it. So you get a really cool PVD finish. You get 300 meters of water resistance. The build quality is pretty good minus that bezel action. Really cool watch here, guys. So not a very well-known company here. So if you're in the market for a quartz dive watch for a really good price, definitely consider this one. I'll try to leave a link down in the comments section where you can pick one of these up, but cool timepiece. Next up, we're going to talk about my 4 Casio watches here, and this is one of my favorite ones here. This is a Casio MTD 1010 Submariner. Wonderful watch here, guys. Just, it looks really cool. Looks obviously like a Submariner, Rolex Submariner, and this one here is kind of like the vintage Submariner look with the thinner lugs, but great timepiece. I really enjoy wearing it. Great quartz movement inside here, of course, being a Casio. The only negative with this one is that it is only 100 meters of water resistance, so this is the only one here that's not a true dive watch. I have taken it to the ocean and into the pool, so it does have good water resistance, but it doesn't have a screw down crown, so keep that in mind. But I had to include it in this list because I mean, it's a Casio Submariner, so really cool timepiece. And next up here, we're going to talk about the Casio SEAMASTER. We already talked about the Submariner. Now it's the Casio MTD 1051, which looks similar to a SEAMASTER with that scalloped bezel here. Another really cool timepiece. This one here does have the 200 meters of water resistance, so it is a dive watch, an actual dive watch with screw down crown, screw down case back. I really like the looks of this one. The sword hands are really sharp. Just a cool looking watch. I've installed a stainless steel aftermarket Casio bracelet on this one, and ever since I've done that, it's been getting a lot of wrist time here. Just a really cool timepiece. Not very common at all, but they do come up from time to time, so be on the lookout on eBay and some other sites like that. And these go for anywhere from probably $40 to $100 depending on condition, so cool timepiece. Next up, we're going to talk about the Casio MTD 1050, and this is another 200 meter dive watch from Casio, and this one here I like because it has that really cool sunburst silver dial, so really pretty watch, kind of unique looking. I've got it here on a NATO strap, gray or silver NATO strap that looks really nice with it. Another kind of uncommon watch here, but definitely one that I enjoy wearing. Doesn't get a ton of wrist time, but definitely a cool timepiece. I really love these dive watches from Casio. And finally here we'll close out with the current production Casio quartz dive watch, and that is the MDV 106, the Duro. You can see it with that marlin right there on the dial. What a wonderful watch here, guys. You know, these can be picked up for around $50 to $60, an incredible value at that price. You get the 200 meters of water resistance, a great quartz movement here. The only thing that's that I don't like about this timepiece is that it's just a little big. You know, 44 millimeter case diameter. It's a little big for me. I can pull it off, but that's really what keeps it from being a really nice watch for me. Is it's just a tad too big. But I do recommend this timepiece. You know, it's hard to beat when you consider the price. A new production quartz dive watch, really cool watch from Casio. Alright guys, so that's a look at my Quartz dive watch collection here. I do have a few other ones in addition to these, but these are my main ones here. If you have any questions or comments on any of these watches, feel free to leave those down below. I'll do my best to answer them. And I would love to hear your comments and suggestions and recommendations on some other Quartz watches, Quartz dive watches that I may not be aware of. I would love to hear about those, so definitely leave your comments. And guys, I appreciate you watching this video, and we'll catch you on the next one. Y'all take care.